And what's good? What's good? We back. This is Triple P, Paul Pickett podcast. You see the banner in the background. We talk nothing but NBA and NFL, and every now and then little other sports. I'm gonna get into a few old topics and a few newer topics and whatnot. First hit that subscribe button in that right hand corner. Let me get a sip of my agua. Don't forget this audio version of this podcast goes to Spotify, Deezer, Amazon Music, Slacker, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and dozen other platforms as well. And the video podcast goes up on YouTube, Facebook fan pages, Instagram TV, Twitter, and other platforms as well. So hit that subscribe button. First, we'll get into a couple old topics. Of course, Jamal Murray was out for the season-ending injury. Um, Denver definitely does not have a chance to win the West, but what it does is give other players like Michael Porter Jr. a chance to step up and really show what he can offer. Because I never looked at Jamal Murray as your number one, anyways. He's more your number two. Porter could really step up and become that number two or that legit number three when Jamal Murray comes back. Jamal Murray could end up being your number three. You know what I'm saying? We'll see how that pans out. Aldridge, Lamarcus Aldridge retired. He had I guess he has like these heartbeat issues, and one of the games he said he never really felt his heart. I guess beating that fast and it scared him, and he decided, after 15 years, chasing a championship wasn't really worth it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what a lot of people felt like what was going on when Blake and Lamarcus went to that team as they chasing a championship. So yeah, man, health. You can't spend your wealth without health. So health is very important. Especially when you got a family to take care of and whatnot. But Lamarcus Aldridge has had a good career, and I just hate every time, like, soon as somebody retires, they already start debating is he a Hall of Famer or not, which I'm about to get into with the Edelman topic later. We got Jordan the percent Kobe in the Hall of Fame. We know Kobe looked up to Jordan. Kobe was Jordan like. I mean, he mimicked everything Jordan did. Um, and I would have to say though that Kobe's last two championships, he carried like a lesser qualified team back to back. Like he won with a team, he carried a lot less talent than what Jordan had around him every time he won. So those back to back years that Kobe had were very impressive because all he really had was Pau Gasol and a bunch of role players. You know, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button in that right hand corner. Of course, we're gonna keep it moving. James Wiseman's out for the season. I mean, this really sucks. Like when a guy comes in his first year and he automatically gets hurt and he's out. We see this happen a lot. We see this happen a lot, man. For Curry, it bolsters his argument of trying to get MVP if they actually get into like a higher seed. If they just get into like the play-in, I can't give Curry the MVP whatsoever. I can't do it. They got to get like a guaranteed, play-in playoff slot without the play-in for me to say Curry was MVP. And it just sucks because Wiseman was starting to, come along more, get more games, more experience on his belt. But these big men, it's hard for them to stay, like a lot of these big men to stay healthy the way their bodies are. You know what I'm saying? These tall, lanky big men, they're like he's 7 foot. Wiseman is legit 7 footer. We got Dwyane Wade buying into the Jazz. That makes a lot of sense to me. Dwyane Wade The modern day Dwayne Wade is Donovan Mitchell, plays for the Jazz. Dwayne Wade mentors him. We know that the Heat supposedly offered him some kind of ownership stakes, but Utah might have gave him more percentage for the money. And Utah's has been very consistent of my lifetime. Like I've never really seen Utah be a losing squad. Like just trash or bums. Nah, man. Like they've always been respectable. I'm 42 years old and they've always been respectable my whole life. The Utah Jazz have, as long as I can remember. You know, I don't know much of them before the Stockton Malone days, but I know like Stockton Malone came in pretty when I was pretty young as a kid, and they Utah's been pretty good ever since. I want to talk about the Hawks a little bit. Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta Hawks. They've been balling out ever since Nate McMillan took over. I was big on Atlanta Hawks before the season. I was definitely big on them. I like Trey Young. I was big on all the moves they made. They brought in a lot of veteran guys to go with the good young guys that they're developing, and they got a lot of good young guys. They got Cam Reddish. You got Hunter. You got Herder. You got Trey Young, still young. You got a lot of good young pieces. And then you bring in, Clint Capella last year to trade, Gallinari, Bogdanovich. They brought in Rondo, but ended up letting him go. And then Chris Dunn. I mean, they brought in some more experienced cats to go with the younger cats because you can't win in this league without experience. I'm sorry. The Knicks are winning because they got some experienced people over there helping them win. You know, Julius Randles, the Derrick Roses of the world. You got to have experience to win in this league. You know, and the Hawks got Nate McMillan now. He figured out how this team should be playing because I always said they should be a playoff team just because of the moves they made and the young pieces they had. So the Hawks are where I think they should be. And as they get older, more experienced, they're gonna get better. Cam Reddish, Hunter Herder, um, Young. Oh, and I forgot about John Collins. They got John Collins over there. He's pretty young too. John Collins is pretty young too. Terrence Clark, man. Rest in peace to Terrence Clark. Player for Kentucky. I guess he was going into the draft this year, gonna be a high pick, and got in a car wreck, and died. They say he ran a red light, and he was going pretty fast. I've been hit by a car before crossing the road, so I know how these things can go. Like you can't just be reckless, out here in the streets, man, when you're driving. A lot of people die behind the wheel. I know a friend of mine, younger kid, he got in a car wreck and two people in the car with him died, and he was facing charges because it was his fault, because he was driving reckless, swerving off the road and stuff. So you gotta definitely be safe when you're out here on the road driving, man. You can't be reckless and speeding and running red lights. I got hit, you know, like in the middle lane of the last lane that I was crossing, and the lady was just trying to speed through to get through the yellow light, so I could have died, but rest in peace. I mean, I don't wish death on nobody that hasn't done, unless you're like a murderer or a rapist or something. I could care less at, what happens to you after that, or a child molester or something like that. Those are the main three things. You don't right or people somebody done rob somebody at gunpoint. Many people at gunpoint act like you're a violent criminal. Like whatever you get, you get. But like this kid was a basketball player, college basketball player, about to go to the pros, died at 19. I mean, didn't even really get a chance to enjoy life or live life because at 19 I wasn't even living life and enjoying life. I didn't even know what life was about then. Also, let's get into Nets injuries. James Harden apparently re-injured his hamstring, whatever it is. Kevin Durant injury issues again. I don't know if this is like legit. Like, if they legitimately got issues, Nets ain't coming out the East. If they legitimately got issues, the Nets ain't coming out the East. They're gonna need Kevin Durant at least, and Kyrie or James Harden to at least come out the East. To win it all, I don't think Kevin Durant and Kyrie are gonna beat LeBron and AD, or Kevin Durant and James Harden. They're gonna need all three to beat the Lakers in the finals. That is, if the Lakers do come out of finals, But it doesn't look good for the Nets. And nobody just typically wins the first year every time, anyways. It takes time. You need chemistry. They haven't played enough together. Something I definitely want to talk about: LaMelo Ball coming back. I'm a big LaMelo Ball fan. I'm excited for what he brings to the Charlotte Hornets. We haven't had this excitement since Grandmama and Alonzo Mourning and Muggsy Bogues and Dale Curry days. Melo coming back could help us make that push to because right now we in the play-in and we were in the playoffs. We were in the playoffs when LaMelo was playing. Right now we in the play-in. And our boys are balling, but right now, I mean, we got injuries too. We got Gordon Hayward hurt, so we need him back. We need Melo back. Scary Terry's been balling out. I remember when Jordan let Kemba Walker go, didn't pay him the money. Everybody was like, "Oh, he should have just paid Kemba." Kemba this. Kemba hasn't been balling out for the Celtics as much as Terry Rozier has been balling out for the Hornets. So that's one of the first moves that I can honestly say. I don't even know if you give it the credit to Jordan, but whoever decided to make that move, that we ain't paying, Kemba Walker, that we just gonna go with Terry Rozier and give him a smaller contract, you know. But he's balling out. He's balling out for that money, man. He's gonna get an even bigger one probably because he's balling out. Even if Charlotte, I mean, I'm thinking Charlotte has to keep Terry Rozier. You can't let him go because he's balling out. This ain't the Kemba Walker thing because they saw Kemba was breaking down, injury prone, this, that, and the third, and it is what it is. Kobe Estate decides not to renew Nike contract. My first thought when I saw this was they're probably gonna just do their own thing, or they got something in the works with the Jordan brand. Because Jordan is, like I said earlier, presenting Kobe in the Hall of Fame, which I didn't really talk about much. I mean, what more can I say? I mean, Kobe, you know, Kobe was one of my least favorite players, if not my very least favorite player when he was alive. But when he died, it did affect me some kind of way because he was so young. We're like the same age. I just turned 42. Kobe was 42. I mean, when somebody that great dies that young, and it just made me realize that I haven't really accomplished nothing in my life because all that he accomplished and what more he had to accomplish in his second, stint in life that after basketball, you know. So that's all I could think is the Kobe, they're going to do their own thing because he was probably going to do his own thing, or he was probably going to go with do something with the Jordan brand, which would make a hell of a lot more sense. Anyways, um, NBA Rookie of the Year and NBA MVP. If LaMelo comes back and could play well enough and get the Hornets they just stay in the play-in. I'm thinking he gets Rookie of the Year still. If he doesn't come back and play a lot and play well, oh boy, might end up taking it. He's up there 18, 19 a game right now. You know, so Anthony Edwards might take it. But I'm thinking LaMelo's gonna come back and keep that rookie year just because of what he did. MVP right now, my MVP is the Joker. Second, I got Embiid, and third, I got Chris Paul. And I might have to Chris Paul, man. I think he's being overlooked for MVP this year. Chris Paul might be second in my list because the Suns have been so solid and so steady and so consistent all year long. And I got to get in a couple NFL. I got too much NFL to talk about. Of course, Edelman retired. Like everybody, when they retire, the first thing they start doing is debating if are they a Hall of Famer or not. Once you get a man, let him retire first. Let him retire, enjoy retirement first before you start debating all the time. Same thing with Aldridge and any players, athletes. As soon as they retire, they want to start this debate like, oh, is he Hall of Fame or not? Like, come on, man. He just retired. We ain't got to tear him down and build him up just yet. Give him a chance to enjoy the retirement. Also, Browns picked up the fifth-year option on Baker Mayfield. I don't know really what that says. He still ain't got a long-term contract. They believe in him for maybe the next 2 years, and that's about it. That's all it really tells me, that they still think there's possibly the next, because next this quarterback draft is going to be good, but next year's not really that great, and the one after that could be better. So that it tells me that they could be looking for a quarterback in 2 years to get him to that over that hump. I don't think they feel like Baker could get him over the hump. Also, Trevor Lawrence coming out saying he have a chip on his shoulder and this, that, and his comments he made. Like, you gotta understand, man. Some of these super religious people, they're like my sister and my brother-in-law. They're not living life by your rules. They live life on their own terms and their rules, and that's how life should be lived on. Your rules and your terms. It's your life. I always say that. If I want to walk up to Shaquille O'Neal, who's 7 foot, I'm just saying Shaq, for example, because I always use somebody who's super big an example. If I want to walk up to Shaq Daddy, Shaq Diesel, and punch him in the face, I got that right. That's my right, because it's my life. I could choose to make that choice for my life if I want to make that choice for my life. Nobody gets to dictate that choice. But the consequence could be that Shaq could pick me up and power drive me and DDT me and body slam me and all types of things because I'm only 5'4", 150 pounds soaking wet. And that's only because I've been sitting behind a computer desk doing music promo for the last decade now, and I got hit by a car and I gained some pounds because, I couldn't walk for several months, My dog even got fat. She even got fat. I got fat, or fatter. Let me not say fat because I might body shame some people on my podcast. Excuse me, but I got fatter. But yes. So yeah, I only weigh 16 pounds lighter than a couple of the receivers going into the draft. But that's hearsay. But yeah, nothing more to really say, man. You got the draft coming up. Trevor Lawrence, like his comments, he's a religious guy. If he wants to live his life where there's more important things in his life than just football, like his wife, hey, or his family, that's understandable. I wish some of my family members valued family a lot more too, but they don't. It is what it is, you know. But it's his choice. I'm not gonna look at him any different. He's still the number one overall pick. He's still, been very dominant on the college level. You know, he's been in the championship run every year. He's been the quarterback. And I'm pretty sure if the Jacksonville's thinking about picking anybody else because of those comments, then they're complete idiots. And they deserve to stay down. stay at the bottom of the league. But draft is coming up. Excited to see what happens, who goes where. Definitely a lot of quarterbacks going. A lot of offensive linemen. I'm hearing no the defensive player, like number one defensive player. I'm hearing J.C. Horn, which is the son of Joe Horn, which played at the high school I went to, Douglas Byrd High School. He played at the high school I went to, or one of the high schools I went to. Also played for the Saints and got famous when he pulled a cell phone out of his sock. Or no, it was out. My bad. It was in like the goalpost or something. I don't want to put misinformation out there. Might get canceled. Culture canceled. You know, cancel culture might hit me if I put in misinformation out there. So let me watch what I say, watch what I do. No misinformation. But yeah, I think he pulled the phone out in the goalpost. But Joe Horn went to Douglas Byrd. His son J.C. Horn is could be the number one defensive player taken in the draft, and that's a big deal to me coming from where Fayetteville, North Carolina, also known as Fayetteville. Dennis Smith Jr., who now plays for the Pistons, drafted by the Mavericks, is also from Fayetteville, and partially why he's moved around because that Fayetteville attitude. You can't bring that into the league, Dennis. We know how Fayetteville cats are when we go out of town. Fayetteville. What? You know how we do. You know what I'm saying? But hit that subscribe button, especially for Fayetteville. Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that like button if you're watching on Facebook. Follow on Twitter. Follow on Instagram TV. Also, the audio podcast on Spotify, Apple, Deezer, Amazon Music, Slacker, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, dozen other platforms. You can Google Paul Pickett Podcast. You see the banner in the background, Paul Pickett. Also, check out my website, promopals.biz, for music promotion, marketing for brands. Also, newlitter.com. We got the t-shirts. Here's one of them I got right here. Money never sleeps. Unfortunately, I do. New Litter Apparel, newlitter.com, indiecastle.net, planetplaylist.com. Also, follow us on all the social medias. And once again, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. This was episode 20 twin. 2020 twin. We're going to keep it moving. Also, don't forget to check out the vlogs. Those are on YouTube on the Promo Palace LLC. I'm Paul Pickett, your host. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Peace, and I'm out.